Hi everybody, welcome back and Happy New Year. I hope that you had a wonderful holiday season, that it gave you the opportunity to rest and recharge. I know that it did for us. Thank you for your patience as we closed the office the last 2 weeks. We got a lot done and we got to spend time with our families before the craziness of tax season. So I really appreciate your patience. So this week we're going to run through how tax season works, what the process is. And if you've been with our firm for any length of time, a lot of it will sound very familiar. There aren't too many things that changed, but please watch anyway because it's a good reminder. I know that you only go through this once a year. We go through it hundreds of times every year. Sometimes we forget to take a break and explain what we're doing and a little bit of why. So I'm also going to show a little more detail than I did last year, so but in a different way. So hang in there and let's jump right into it. It's a new year. You're going to start seeing tax documents rolling in any day. Your books are being wrapped up, whether you're doing that or we're doing that for you. That's all in process. So as tax documents are starting to show up, we're going to be starting to send out checklists here early in January. And I wanted to show you what that looks like. So you'll receive an email. First, I should note this is an email I don't normally use. So don't try to email me at this. But you will receive an email that looks something like this: to please complete a checklist for your 2023 tax return. Which checklist you receive will depend on whether you use TaxCaddy or Carbon to get us documents. If you're a TaxCaddy user, you will receive one that looks very, very similar, slightly different than the one for Carbon. So, but either way, you can attach your documents either place. It's fine. We'll get it either way. I should take a moment to note that this will be our last season supporting TaxCaddy. It's something we've been paying a fortune for, and we won't be anymore in the spring. You still get to keep your TaxCaddy account, so any files that are saved there are totally fine. You will be able to continue to use them. If you ever decide not to work with us anymore, it's possible that your future firm will support that app and you'll be able to link. But if you upload things to us later on in the summer this year, we won't be able to see it that way anymore. So just to throw that out there. So when you receive a checklist from us, I'm sure you've received one before. You're familiar with this. The checklist tells you kind of what we're looking for. The Carbon one asks you to review an organizer, which is attached. If you have dependents, there's a dependent due diligence worksheet. I'm going to attach a separate video to that to explain what that means and why. And then it's a reminder to schedule your wrap-up meeting. If you're a TaxCaddy user, it's very similar. It just says to upload your documents to TaxCaddy, but it also gives you that scheduling link. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So Carbon. If you click Manage Checklist, it should take you directly to that checklist. You shouldn't have to log in order to get to that, in order to get to the screen that shows you that information. That said, I also wanted to note that while you're in that checklist, after you clicked Manage Checklist, you can see, like this one had an attachment. It's not an organizer attachment because I'm not going to share that with you, but you can click attachments, you can add comments, you can upload files. So I wanted to point out that that link in that email is a magic link, meaning when you click it from your email on your device, it links authentication to that device. If you then try to access that same link from a different device, it's going to give you a message that it can't from that link and that it needs to send you a fresh link. It's validating your identity, validating that you actually have access to that email account. So please just click the link, let us know if you have trouble, but best always just click the checklist link on the device that you intend to use to upload documents to us. So with that, you can also create a login to Carbon that will allow you to access these checklists. So if you click log in, I have not set up a password for this email address yet. So I'm going to click Create Account. Chances are good you haven't either. Put in the email address, create a password, and create an account. Oh, all right, fine. Okay, it's going to validate the email account again, and once it does that, we can log in. The benefit to creating that login is that now you can see any projects, whether they're closed or open. You don't have to have an active link from us in an email. You can just go see what projects are out there. I created myself 2 projects, one with Carbon and one with TaxCaddy. You can click those projects and see what those tasks are. You can see ones that are already completed. You can reopen them, uncomplete them, see comments. So creating that checklist or that login can be really helpful. So consider that, especially if you need to upload documents to us, but you don't have a current checklist. If you just log into Carbon using the email address that we have been communicating with you on, it will show you your projects. So really important. Okay, so back to the actual process, right? You're going to go through your checklist. You're going to upload documents, whether that's to TaxCaddy or to Carbon, or you're going to bring them into the office with a drop-off appointment. Either way, however you'd like to get documents to us, get them to us. When you've gotten us substantially everything, and by substantially everything, I mean you're maybe waiting for a K-1 from a business that you're a participant in, or you're waiting for an investment statement or 2. Those always drag on. If you get us everything else, you get us your W-2s, your business financials are done, all the stuff that comes in January and early February, make your wrap appointment. So the wrap appointment can always be made from abellatax.com. There's a book appointment link up above. It's in the signature line of all of our emails, and it's here in your checklist to go link out and schedule an appointment. We need 2 to 3 weeks from the date that you schedule this appointment. And the reason for that is that we don't look at the stuff you've uploaded until you book that appointment. Otherwise, we would be touching your file over and over and over again, trying to figure out if everything is complete. We just really need you to book the appointment so that we know that you've substantially uploaded everything, that it's time now for us to go through it. Even if your only thing in your tax return are your business financials, please book your appointment. Give us that 2 to 3 weeks. That time allows us to go through everything you've uploaded, draft the tax return, do an initial review, and post up to you some questions if there are things that we see are missing. You had a particular investment account in the past or interest income from a particular bank that we don't see now. We'll get that to you so that you have time to try to find that before our meeting. In that wrap meeting, we're going to go through and talk about this tax return, of course, but also we're going to look at 2024. So we're going to go through this tax return. Hopefully we've provided a draft to you if it is substantially complete. We'll want to verify the basics, that we have addresses and dependents and all of the basics correct, that we're not missing any income, we're not missing any deductions or credits. And then we'll talk about 2024. We'll establish if we think that you need to make an estimated payment for 2024, what that might look like. If there are any big changes for you for 2024, we want to try and get that projection in during that wrap meeting. So if you know anything that changed, feel free to get that to us when you're getting us those initial documents. So in that wrap meeting, we went over the tax return. There may be some additional open items like that final K-1 or that final investment statement. That's fine. Once we get that last piece of information, we'll drop it in and we'll get the tax return to you for review and signature. Generally, that's through e-signature. E-signature requires you to click to answer some questions to verify your identity before you can review the tax return. Please download a copy of it and sign the return electronically. If you're married, both spouses must sign the same e-signature packet. It's 2 different emails, one to each of your email addresses, but you both have to sign from the same wave of emails. Once you have signed, we will e-file the tax return. If you owe the IRS, it is your responsibility to schedule payment for that. You have until April 15th to do that, but you can schedule it early. We recommend making payments on irs.gov because you get a confirmation number and you don't have to worry about the postal service. So that's the recommended way to get those payments in. We do not schedule them. If you have a 2024 first quarter estimated payment due as well, that's also due April 15th, so keep that in mind. Extensions. So S Corp and partnership returns are due March 15th. We often do extend those because often in our client list, the only owners are those that we are also doing the 1040 work for. And so doing the extension allows us a little extra time to wrap the return alongside the personal return by April 15th. Extending those returns also can give additional time for funding a retirement plan and some other things. So those we proactively file extensions for as long as you are a current client. Extensions on the personal side do give you an extension out to October, but it's an extension of time to file, not an extension of time to pay. And that's something that trips people up. Your tax is due April 15th, even if you have an extension, even if you don't know what the tax is. Which is why we try so hard to get all of those wrap meetings done before April so that we at least have an estimate for you to pay with your extension. So please keep that in mind. If you do file an extension, note that in our office, we must have your wrap meeting done by the end of August. We don't do wrap meetings in September and October. Our firm is focused on proactive planning, and we can't be working on 2024 if we're still wrapping 2023 in September and October. So let us know if that's a problem. We're happy to provide you anything that you need to transition to a firm that is fine with doing extension deadline work. I think that is the process from start to finish. I'm sorry that was longer than I really intended to spend, but I did really want to show you the Carbon login this time. So let us know, as always, if you have any questions. One other thing to note, most of you are business owners in one way or another. Things happen throughout the year in your business and you need support aside from your tax wrap meeting. There is always time in the calendar for those business support meetings. Please don't feel like you can't find time in my calendar because it's tax season. There is time. You may need to reach out to us directly to schedule that time. We do lock the calendar down to help make sure that tax season moves smoothly, but we also block out time specifically to support our business owners. So just wanted to throw that out there as well. Again, Happy New Year. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you as we progress through tax season. Let us know if you need anything, and I will see you next week. We're going to talk about the new beneficial ownership filing requirement for businesses. So have a great week. Bye.